Hey guys, it's Ben here with MTM, here with another video. This video is again going to be about the kind of riots we're having in LA and starting to happen all across the country. And this video is going to be about uh, kind of overview of everything that's going on and my perspective of it and what I'm thinking about it. And then some tools that you can have with you just here on the table here that you can use to make yourself feel and be more prepared. And yeah, just what I'm going through and what I'm thinking through about all this. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So as we know, there's a lot of tension right now and violence that's starting to happen around all over the U.S. and big cities, major metropolitan areas. Not only, but including Atlanta, L.A., obviously where it started, Boston, New York. I think DC is going to have a couple. Chicago, Detroit. I think Detroit might be wrong on that one, but just kind of all over the country. And then there is that map there, the No Kings, I think is their trademark or whatever, which has, I think, around 1,500 or 1,500 planned protests. But that number is a little skewed because anyone can just go onto their website, claim to be a organization that's affiliated with them, and then create a place for a protest. So that could easily be a couple 100,000 people to just one person with like 5 people in their community setting up protests. So that's what that is. When you hear that number, don't freak out. It's probably the majority of it is just small organizations of people in your town or in your county or something that are getting together. So you don't really need to worry about that unless you're deep in inner city. Then you should be a little bit more careful about where you go and what you do and what's happening around you. So these things are really big in the news now, and I wanted to just go over that and show my perspective on it. Does it affect me directly? No, it doesn't. And probably the majority of you, it doesn't either, unless you're in one of those big cities, major city hubs. Then you'll probably have to use more caution and use more discernment on what you're going to do. But there's a lot of good videos from YouTubers about that, especially since a couple years ago with the BLM protests. It kind of has that same flavor going on right now. So there's a lot of stuff that you can learn from looking back at that time and what you could have done and think through what you would have done in that time. So yeah, just it's kind of crazy. I don't think this is not the thing that's worrying me the most. It is a big factor, just with the tension in the country. But what I'm afraid of is this spreading to a good majority of the country, and a possible scenario is this is the main factor for insurgency or something along that line, where the country basically kind of devolves into a civil war a little bit, but there's still governmental rule. That's probably not my biggest concern, though. My biggest one is definitely that this will lessen the readiness of our military and our government. And while this is happening, there can be foreign actors and entities and nations like China, Russia, Iran that could start to activate their cells in here. So whether it's China and Russia with cyber attacks, or Iran starts to activate their sleeper cells to set off IEDs, or to start causing panic, to do a false flag attack, something like that. That's more what I'm concerned about, especially from my area. I live in the South, so live in a very kind of rural area, very small, not really having any of that problem around here, especially since the law enforcement down here is pretty good at getting hold of that stuff. But it is still an issue. Definitely still is an issue. So I'm still trying to prepare accordingly for that. But yeah, so just the big part is not the main issue, which is the riots and the protests for the illegal immigrants, but it's the stuff that could come along with that, basically it is starting to degrade the country, and then that will allow foreign entities to help them degrade it even more. So that's my main concern. Um, for some advice, just don't go anywhere near it. I know it might be tempting to try to get videos and just to kind of be shocked and go around and see what's going on. Just don't put yourself in that situation if you can. If you live in that area, I think Forward Observer made a live stream today or yesterday about what to do. If you are working and you know that there's a protest coming along, then you can leave work early. You can not go into work that day. Just try to play it smart. Try to gather that intel beforehand. That's definitely something that can help you in this situation. I'm just going to go over some of the stuff that I'm planning on and things that I think you should worry or try to plan and work on too with skills. So starting off with things that are not pictured here, I'm gonna make a water catchment system for gray water using the gutters on the roof to eventually capture the water from runoff and collect them in food grade 55-gallon drums, and that will allow me to store water. I'm gonna get 5 of those, so 55 gallons each. I think that's 400 and no, it's 275 gallons in total from just the gray water, and then I have one 100-gallon water bladder, and then I'm gonna get 2 more 100 gallons. So that's gonna be 300 gallons in water bladders, and then the 275 gallons of water that's gonna get collected. That's gonna be gray water. So about 575 gallons of water altogether, and then some will be able to be replenished from rain, and then I can obviously filter that and boil it if I need to. So that's water. For food, I already have a month and a half supply of food from I think it's from My Patriot Supply or something. Kind of the crappy stuff. Dirty Civilian did a video on the effects of that over the course of, I think he did 30 days, and it's not pretty. But for surviving, if it's easy, to be honest, it's easy to just buy that. But we're trying to also start a garden. I got a couple thousand, a pack of a couple thousand seeds to start planting vegetables out in our yard, and that will be our source of fresh produce to be able to try to start making our own food here. So that's my plan. That obviously takes time to do. So for the here and now, just get some freeze-dried food that you can just add water to. But know that that should not be the end-all be-all, that you should go out and try to develop more skills, try to grow your own food. Just like the water catchment, you can store water, but eventually you're going to run out of the water, and you're going to need to get some on your own. So there's water and food. I don't have the money right now because broke. I'm sure a lot of you might be feeling that too. But I'm planning on getting a electrical backup for the house. You can plug it into your breaker panel, and it's just a home backup. It's like the probably 3 feet tall or whatever, but can produce 14 hours of battery, and then you can solar charge it. So it's a solar generator. You can also hook up a normal generator to it, and it will charge it. So I think it's the Anker F3800. I think that might be it. Plus, I think, but yeah. So that's a plan, but don't have the money for that yet. But food, water is my main concern right now, and then electricity is definitely close behind for being needed, because electricity to boil water, to power phones and radios and things like that. So definitely renewable energy like solar is great for your own entity. Is terrible for powering the grid, but it's really awesome for powering your family and just your own ecosystem of electronics and stuff like that. So that's that. That's the plans for that stuff. Here, I got some stuff here. So if you do have to go into the city, say your wife works in there or your husband or whatever, and you need to go and extract them during a riot, make sure you have some type of gas mask. This one is for CBRN threats from Mirror Safety. I think this is the CM7M, but they sell a full face one, which I think is the CM6M maybe. And yeah, so just really great for CBRN, but this one also does tear gas. Obviously, you can get cheaper filters that just do tear gas, so that's an option. So just have this. I'll have this in my car just to be ready for anything like that. Don't live. I live probably about 30 minutes away from a decently sized city for the South, so it's definitely a concern, but nothing like Boston, New York, LA, Chicago. So this is something that I would definitely have on on me or in the vehicle. Um, Another thing is medical. I have my medical pouch here. This I keep in my car, and it's a fanny pack, so I can either throw it over my head like this or put it around my waist. If I do ever have to go into a situation like that, I'm going to have a hoodie on, and I'll get to why that is, but this can definitely also hide under the hoodie as well. And yeah, just have some burn dressings, a tourniquet, some gauze. A lot of this stuff I just made my own. It's a Spirit System fanny pack. I think this is their large pouch. Emergency blankets, some packing gauze, just a lot of stuff here. Some combat gauze. Just a lot of stuff here that for you and the people that are close to you. If you do have, unfortunately, your family or your friends with you, some stuff that you can use to treat any wounds caused by rubber bullets or tear gas or Molotov cocktails or something. Yeah, I think I mentioned, but burn dressings are in there. Definitely something that you need to switch out quite often. But those are in there for the immediate treatment of those types of things. Moving on, I have a couple radios here. So this is analog. This is just a better looking Baofeng. This is just voice, and this is not digital analog, so anyone can intercept this. This is really easy. This technology has been around for a while, but it still is good if you're in a pinch and you need to communicate. Just know that none of this stuff is encrypted unless you use some kind of code phrase. There is a book, I think it's from NC Scout, The Guerrilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio. It shows you how you can still have somewhat encrypted communications with a analog system like this that anyone can listen into that's not encrypted. So there's that. Look into that if you're interested. There's also Meshtastic here, which connects to your phone. Another reason why having solar power to power your house or your electronics when you can't get electricity from the grid, to power radios like this so you can stay in communication with people. This is awesome. You can also, during a riot, have this in. There is usually in a big city, there are people that still have these up. They put them up. They've been putting them up for a couple years now in cities. Even in the small city that I mentioned that I'm near, there are these pretty much everywhere. So you can use these and communicate with people. And usually the people that are on that are using this kind of technology are nerds, and they're usually little bit more crunchy, a little bit more crunchy as in like homesteading, kind of prepping. So the people in this community, even though you might not know them, they might be sharing intel. So that's a really good way to gather intel without getting yourself into the fray, into the riot itself. So there's that. I have some kitted out body armor here. This is Spirit System LV119. This is their overt setup, but you can basically make this slick. Take the panel off there for the magazines, and take all the kind of the bulky stuff out of there, the magazines, and you can put this on. Like I said before, put this on under a sweatshirt, and it honestly, you can't really even tell, especially if it's dusk to night. No one will be able to tell that you have body armor under there. So that's really good if you need to get out of there. And it's coming very violent, and they're starting to the law enforcement starting to need to use lethal force. Definitely a good thing to have, because you don't know when that will happen. And we have seen in other countries, not only in the U.S., but we have seen the use of lethal force for riots and controlling them. So we saw that in Ukraine. We've seen that in some other areas across the world too. So just be aware of that and just be safe. Rather be safe than sorry, right? Another thing to think of is, this is my wife's body armor. Doesn't have anything on it because she's not tactical, but this is just to protect her. It's pretty lightweight plates and pretty slick, just plate carrier setup, right? So we need to think about those that are around us as well, not just looking cool ourselves, but being able to protect everyone that we care about, right? So moving on, just my rifle setup there just to look good, but that's kind of all the stuff that I've been thinking about. Actually, another thing that I have here now to mention about it. This is what I keep in my car. I need to update it a little bit, but it's just a cheap Amazon backpack, and I have water bottles in here, and then I have some granola bars, and then I also have some medicine in here too. So if you get caught in traffic or they block the highways or something and you can't go home, that actually looks a lot like an Antifa backpack. So you'll fit right in. So you have a black sweatshirt on, you throw a black hat on, and you throw a black backpack on. You'll fit right in, right? And then they won't attack you because they think you're one of them. So just you'll be able to weave through the crowd, try to get home. It has waters in it, so everything that you need for your drop where your car is locked in, you can use the contents of a bag like that to just try to get your way home. So you can also put medical supplies in there and be able to just sneak your way home, basically. So that's definitely a possibility, right? Yeah, that's kind of it. There have been a lot of people that have been saying that, like, why are you worrying about this? Like, how does this affect you in particular? And that is a good perspective, because we also don't want to listen to the people that say this is the end of the world kind of thing and making a big deal out of it. But I'm kind of in the middle, where I feel like this does affect me in some way, because I kind of see the future and see where this potentially could go. And this is kind of higher up on the threat assessment vector, because we can see that it's starting to ramp up, right? It's starting to get more organized, starting to get it in a lot more areas of the country where this can start to overwhelm law enforcement, the military, and the government in general. So that's where I kind of see this going. If this was just one area of the country, wouldn't bat an eye, but it seems like it's starting to ramp up. These things have happened before, right? It's probably gotten to this level. I mean, BLM was way above this, right? But I feel like that was different. That was not very organized, and even though it wasn't all happening at once. This has been very quick, very right after the other in secession, and that scares me a little bit, because I feel like that means that it's more organized. There's more of a plan behind this, and it's kind of showing you more clearly the path that it's going. And I don't necessarily, like I before said, I don't necessarily think that this is the one and only thing. I do feel like this is an opportunity for bad actors to go ahead and start to progress their plans. Because think about it, if the US is so focused on stuff domestically right here, China could invade Taiwan. Like, how does that affect us? Electronics, right? Huge semiconductor manufacturing in Taiwan, biggest in the world. And they've been trying to move that over here, but that it's just not fast enough. It takes years and years to make these plants, to make these semiconductors. And you can't your phone production will die off. Everything, all your electronics, cars, everything in our society is so much based on electronics that will impact us directly, right? Maybe not right as it happens, but in a couple of years, when you go to the store and you can't buy any electronics, like we're gonna be not put it back in the Stone Age, but we will be overrun and in technology and manufacturing because China or somebody else will have that technology and we won't. And then that will be the time where you could maybe see an actual invasion. So just kind of like this 30,000-foot view and trying to look off into the distance. Kind of like when you're driving on the highway and you're taking a turn, you don't look directly in front of you. You look at where the apex of the turn is, and you're trying to gauge how much of a turn you're going to have to take. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to see what's off in the future, not be scared about it, even though it is scary. We're going to try to be strong and be courageous even when we have fear like that, but also act accordingly and plan when we can. I can tell you to go out and buy $20,000 worth of stuff, right? A lot of us, pretty much all of us, don't have that money, and that's okay. We got to just keep doing what we can and saving money when we can. Sometimes we can't afford something, and that's okay. That's one of the ways that we have to trust God and just make sure that our hearts and our spirits are set in that He is there for us, and not that He'll take care of us. I mean, He will, but you can't have this thought of like things are going bad right now and I can't prepare for something. Well, God's just gonna not let that happen to me. He might let it happen to you, and that might just be a place where you can just build your faith more, right? Even in uncertainty, even in danger, in famine, in droughts, we can still trust Him because He's good. We know at the end, we know where the end goal is, right? We know what's going to happen at the end of the road. So that's where we can have our hope, our joy, because hope and joy are different than happiness, because happiness is fleeting. We can always have hope and joy in the ups and downs of life. So thanks for watching the video. Like I've said in previous videos, please comment if you like this setup, if you want to see something different. Just trying to get better at talking and presenting this information and stop chasing rabbits here. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Trying to build this channel up, and don't have a lot of time, but would love if you guys would just hit that subscribe and that like button. It would really help out the channel a lot. And from me to you, thank you, and just have a good rest of your day. All right, see you later, guys.